is their Cordova creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Canoes, how much room does he have here? El Canoes going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Fatawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
Wood should score. Wood was Knockout. Yes! Yes! Anthony Knockout has done it.
Entitlement lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans. And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
Ball in behind Damian Vardy. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
Hello and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is Saturday night. It's not normal time for us over here. Normally we're wrapped up by 8 o'clock. However, as somebody in the chat has told me to do, let's call Joe out for being late. No, it's all good. He was busy. I did watch it, Joe. It was a good stream doing your player ratings for this season, mate. So
thank you, mate.
Very, very good.
If
anybody
you want the rating and that, I'll send you over the information that I use.
Yes, man, do it. If anybody doesn't know who Joe is, it is actually your first time on the channel, mate, which is mental. It's the first time, man. It's the first time, yeah. It's because you're down in the slums, obviously, in the championship. You're not in the big time.
Keeping the seat warm for you. Keeping the seat warm for you.
Yeah, probably, mate. Well, we're going to talk about that. As you can see on the screen, up and down, because it looks, as it stands, that Leicester City are the ones going down, and Leeds United could be on their way up. Joe, mate, before we get into the ins and outs, I mean, I think people know who you are and what your channel is, mate, but just call it out, mate, of course.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, mate. Lox is a friend of many years now, actually, to be fair, because...
5 years.
Is that how long it is, mate? Wow, it was all Leeds TV, weren't it, when we started getting you on?
It was,
I
man.
think.
It was.
Yeah. Before the whistle blows, long time. Good lad, he's Lox. Great to see his channel playing. I'm just Joe, and I cover Leeds United and and other games as well. So I won't be covering you next season because you won't be in the same division. But I covered you a lot last season, and so come on over.
Go on, mate. Let's get into it. This season, the championship, you are top of the league. Yep. Only just. But what's it like this year? Because I mean, we have fond memories as Leicester fans. Well, majority fond memories of the championship, winning a lot of games, a close battle at times between ourselves and Ipswich. What's it like this season, mate? Because I've not kept much of an eye on it.
No. Was it not a close battle with us at times? No,
not in the end. Yeah, at times. At times.
To be honest, mate, the standard's not as good as it was last year. And I knew that going into it. I did think we'd have a bigger points tally or a bigger gap this season than we have. But Sheffield United and Burnley are no mugs. But I do believe that the standard isn't as good as it was last year. The rest of the teams are pretty dross. I think next season's going to be a lot tougher with the 3 that come down and those that are getting promoted back into the Championship from League One. It will be a massive failure if Leeds United don't go up this season. But yeah, to be honest, mate, I go into most games thinking we'll win and we've done the double over Sheffield United. We should have done the double over Sunderland, but obviously Melier made that clanger. We drew against Burnley, lost due to an error, but I just think we're far and away the best team in the division, whereas last season, obviously, there was there was Southampton, Ipswich, so there was more teams, but I think squad-wise, we're the best.
But you said that last year, though, right? You at times last season, we're the best. Georgie Rutter agreed as well, of course.
Yeah, and at that point, though, mate, remember, we went unbeaten for like 2 months and you had a 17-point gap and you proceeded to throw it all away. So there was a time where we were the best, and Rutter made that comment after we'd just beaten you at Ellen Road, if you remember. So Yeah.
Why do you think? What makes you think that it's going to be tougher next year? Because Leicester,
Well,
Ipswich, Southampton. I think this is the worst points tally for the bottom three clubs in Premier League history. It's worse than last year with Burnley and Sheffield United and Luton.
Do you not feel that you are better than Sheffield United and Burnley, them two sides? Well, this is some turnaround.
Yeah.
This is some turnaround locks because you told me there were 8 teams worse than you in Premier League.
I did not say 8. That's bullshit. I didn't say 8. I didn't say it. But
5.
No, I get. Yeah, it was 5. I get what you're saying. I mean, obviously, I suppose Luton as well. Are they going down? I mean, I haven't. Let me look at the table. Are they actually going down?
They're still in the relegation zone, mate, I believe, as it stands, which is mad, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying. So, like, Burnley and Sheffield United came down. Again, meh. You know, Luton are in the relegation zone, which tells you what they're about. Whereas you're coming down with Southampton, who I believe are getting Danny Roll from Chef Wednesday. Leicester, you've won a Premier League, you've won an FA Cup. Ipswich have an unreal team for the Championship. You've then got Birmingham, who spent 12 million on fucking Jay Stansfield from Fulham in League One that are going to get and have already got a Championship squad. You've got Wrexham, who were bankrolled by the, who, Rob McElhenney. Yeah, Deadpool. So they'll have a go. I think Sunderland will be better next year after a season under Reggie Lebrie and will spend again. West Brom under Mowbray, and then the 3 relegated teams. Like, honestly, mate, next season, Coventry as well, if they don't go up, they'll improve under Lampard. So I just think next year there's going to be so many teams. Whereas, this season that's not been the case.
Well, why? I mean, why aren't you clear, mate? I mean, what's happened? Is it just like because obviously last season, the whole. I mean, you've had this for years as a Leeds fan, and Leeds are falling apart and all that stuff. Has there been many of them moments this season? Because I remember you last year. You every few weeks you were changing your mind. Every few weeks you were like, "We're gonna fucking piss it," and then the next week it would be, "Oh, we're shit, we ain't going up." So what is that? Is it been similar this year or not?
No, to be honest, it is a bit mad because we went on 18 games unbeaten. It is crazy that we don't have a bigger points gap. To be honest, if Sheffield United didn't have 2 points deducted, they'd be above us for financial irregularities. But yeah, it is a bit mad, especially after we beat Sheffield United and Sunderland back to back. I thought that's it, and then obviously the Leeds thing kicked in, and we got beat by Portsmouth and drew against West Brom. Drew against QPR, so it's not been great form. Obviously beating Millwall in between them, but I just think the experience of last year will count for a lot, Locks. And I think, this time last year when we went on international break, I think we were top and you were second, or it might have been the other way around. And then we came back and Wales had just been beaten after playing 120 minutes on penalties. Dan James had missed the penalty. Ampadu got injured, so the Welsh lads were on the floor. We came back, we go QPR, we get beat 4-0, and we just went, we just crumbled, man. And I just don't see that happening this time. We come back, we've got Swansea. Ampadu will be back from injury. James has just scored tonight for Wales in that game that's currently playing. So I just think it's got a different feel. And the biggest thing, Locks, is Easter weekend, Easter Monday, we play Stoke at home and Sheffield United and Burnley play each other. Oof. So, and that's 2 games till end. So let's say they draw and we win with 2 games left to go. You're thinking that's a little gap there. We should be all right. So, yeah.
Is there any part of you, because football fans do this all the time, I think, with hindsight and all of that. Is there any part of you that's glad? Do you think you're in a better position now?
Yes.
Going for next year is a part of you, because I mean we were talking about the other night about the Deeney, the playoff moment, right, with Leicester.
Yeah.
That heartbreaking thing happened, and then we go and piss the league the next year, and then we stay up, and then we win the fucking Premier League, right? But I'm saying, in hindsight, it was a good thing that we missed out on promotion that year because we weren't ready. So is that how you're feeling right now?
Yeah, mate, because I think we have a more complete squad. Of course, last season we had great individuals. You've seen that Rutters doing bits at Brighton. I know Somerville's got injured, but he's at West Ham, and they were individual players, weren't they? It was all about the moments that they created. I do think we have a more balanced squad this time around. And again, I'll say it, I think the teams that we go up with, Sheffield United and Burnley, we're the best out of the lot. If we go up through the playoffs, I think we're still better than Ipswich and can probably bring in better players than them, but we're not as good as you going up. So the fact that if it might have just been, as it is this season, just swapping us with Southampton, whereas I think next year, to go up with Sheffield United and Burnley, I think we have a better chance, mate. I do, but it's all about recruitment, as you well know. And if you sack your manager, it's all about bringing the right one in. That's what it's about, man. It comes down to recruitment and obviously having the right guy steering the ship, doesn't it?
I know you don't want to jump the gun, but does it worry you, Farke's Premier League record? Because sure, it would be bugging me. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah. But Locks, I think he should be given the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
There's some Leeds fans though that would sack him in the summer. Genuinely.
I remember that last season, mate. I remember last season when you were still like on course to go up. And I remember seeing discussions on your channel like, we should sack Farke in the summer if we go up.
But there has to be context applied to his Norwich time, because the first season they went up, they spent 5 million. 5 million in the Prem, regardless of what year it is. The next season, they spent about 35, but 30 million of that, they'd sold Buendia. So they actually didn't. We know what Norwich are like. They're not big spenders. Whereas the 49ers, for me, will be looking at 150 to 200 million, a bit like what Ipswich have done. So Farke will be backed. When Parag came in, he said, I like Farke. He also wasn't backed in the Premier League. He will be back. He said that. So he will be backed, but for me, I would have him on a short leash. I don't want us getting 15 games in, mate, cut adrift. If after 10 games, you're looking at it going, yeah, this isn't going right. It's context on everything, right? If we're 18th, but are only 2 points off getting out, and we're playing okay, you go, okay, we stick with it. But if we're getting walloped, like his Norwich team used to get walloped, you know, I remember like Suarez has scored 4 goals a game against them and stuff. Suarez he was their team, but we can't be getting walloped, mate. The mad thing is, when we went up under Bielsa, I expected us to do well because the style of playing, it was new, and we did do well. And I expected that. This time, I just want 17th because I know it's going to be a slog. So if you could say you're going to get promoted and finish 17th, I'll take it. We've got a Forest fan in the chat. Look what they've got. You know, you've gone up and you ended up winning Premier League. You've got Brighton. You've got, you know, you have to, it takes a while, but we have to maybe get rid of that thing of we're Leeds United and just go, do you know what? Give us a couple of seasons fighting relegation but staying up. I'll take it, mate, because Premier League's where it's at.
I was going to ask you this, like, so you say there's a Forest fan in the chat. I mean, there's been Forest fans in the chat ever since we sacked Steve Cooper. And let me put you in that situation that Leicester were in. So Leicester was 17th, or they might have even been 16th. We were 16th or 17th at the time, which sounds mad now. But the football was dross, and we were being kept in games, quite frankly, in my opinion, because of our goalkeeper. Majority of fans could see it wasn't sustainable. Would you ever advocate for a sacking of Daniel Farke in that position? Let's say you're 17th, 16th. You feel like you're getting lucky and it's not sustainable. Would you ever consider, getting rid of Farke in that situation?
It's hard, isn't it? But I think the owners at the football club bowed to fan pressure, and they should have never appointed Steve Cooper. But the fact that they did, they should have stuck to the guns, because I know it was turgid, right? I know it was bad, but even you will admit now, probably, you could have still been in with a shout of staying up. Whereas under Rude, you told me the other night you hadn't scored a goal at home since December. And I think you'd have got points you weren't expected to get points in. Just ask Forest fans. I know he's a bit of a legend there, but they were touch and go. Listen, I remember getting clipped up by Forest fans. We beat them at Ellen Road, and I was going, that's Forest done now. they're gone, and we got relegated and they stayed up. And that wasn't too far to go because, I don't know, when you've got a manager like that, you're going to stay in games. Your manager's not got you staying in games.
Yeah, I mean, I said to you the other night, I think, and this is for the Forest fan as well, to be fair, Peaches is okay. But I feel like we definitely still would have gone down under Steve Cooper. Like, I'm convinced on that, which is why I think it was probably still the right decision, but it's the replacement that was the problem. And then maybe you could argue, well, if there wasn't a replacement who was going to better him, then, but obviously that's all hindsight, right? The anticipation was that he was going to do well. You're right, though. I mean, about fan pressure and maybe I think it was largely player pressure. To be honest with you, I think the players. I mean, you saw, right, the night he was sacked. The Leicester players were in a nightclub in Copenhagen holding up a sign that said, "Enzo, I miss you."
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So that makes it seem a lot. I mean, in hindsight now as well, it looks even worse now.
Yeah,
they kind of pushed him out and they're still putting up that shit, you know?
Yeah, of course. And players shouldn't have the power. Do you not feel that that's not a good thing? That's not a good look, is it? It's not a good look.
We celebrated it, Leicester fans, including myself. We were like, you know, loving it at the time because we just wanted Cooper gone. But like, we've spoken about it a lot since then, and I'm in total agreement. It's, you know, and they speak about it on TalkSport. The players have too much, in my opinion, of a close relationship with the owner.
Yeah.
Because if the players don't like the manager, they just bypass everybody, go to the owner and have a moan. And I think we hear stories that certain players, like Jamie Vardy, for one, I mean, he is very close with the owner with everything they've gone through. And I understand that he's the most senior member of the team, but there are stories that Harry Winks was one of the players to force Steve Cooper out. And that after we had an international break, we didn't sack him. We played Chelsea, we lost, and then they sacked him. It makes no sense.
Stupid.
And apparently Winks was the player at full time who went in and fucking kicked off saying, "This is shit. This manager don't know what he's doing." So, I mean, there's a comment here. Luke says Winks is toxic.
I mean, I've been telling you for 2 seasons about that Harry Winks.
Great championship player.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you not think that you are a victim as a fan base? And I'm not digging Leicester fans out here, but I do think there's something in the comments about maybe you overestimated your squad. Do you not think because you've won the Premier League, because you've won the FA Cup, because you had Rodgers, you played a certain style, that maybe you expected that when you went to Prem and it's having that realisation that actually we're not that team anymore? Because, look, Locks, me and you spoke before, you were going, there's 5 teams worse than us. We've got this player, that player, and it's like, oh, it's a bit of a reality check. Maybe that's what I'm telling you in terms of how I will view the Prem now. Going up under Bielsa, I was like, yeah, we're back. This is us. We got relegated, humbled last season as well by yourselves in Ipswich. Going up next, I'm thinking, just give me 17th. You know, maybe there is a little bit of that where you were like, we're back now. We've won this recently. We're going to be sound. And obviously it hasn't turned out that.
Well, I mean, here's a comment from Feet. He said, most of us thought, because it didn't feel like we were a newly promoted team. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've said this
just
on a few different channels, but
just a reset.
Yeah. And the question you asked, I mean, Leicester fans this season have been labelled entitled, and I don't think that's fair. You know, this isn't like, no offense, this isn't Leeds where it's been 10, 15 years, right? Or is it even longer now? Is it 20 years? 20 years since.
Yeah, it was a long time, mate. 15 years, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, and even with Leicester, right? Like when Leicester were in the Prem in the early noughties, and then the jump to when we got promoted in 2014. That's a big gap. This was 1 year, and our club, under the same owners, under some of the same players, they've gone from like consistently competing for European places to a fucking yo-yo championship team in the space of 3 years. And I think that's unacceptable. Like, that is unacceptable to fumble the bag that much. And I think that is why I think the entitled tag is a little bit unfair. I think, expectations change as a football fan. If all you do is say, well, we were in League One 15 years ago, then how are you ever going to push on as a football club? The fans are holding the club to a high standard, and because they've dropped, we're not happy about that. The Steve Cooper stuff, like I said, the fans believed we were going to go down under him. That's what the fans believed, and that's, I think, why so many of us kind of wanted him gone. In hindsight, like I said, it was the wrong decision, because if you look at the facts, the stats, goals for, goals conceded, XG, points per game, wins on the board, we were better under Steve Cooper. They're just the facts.
I bet doors die.
Oh, mate, he won't come near this channel anymore, mate. He won't come near us anymore. Let's talk about this, mate, because obviously it's on the same topic. I mean, I've spoken to you and you said you'll be fine. You'll be fine next season. You'll stay up. And, when we talk about the gap between the Championship and the Premier League, I mean, this guy says, think Leeds squad would need major surgery. Only see a half decent Prem player in there, and that's Tanaka.
I would disagree, but obviously I am going to. But I think Bogle can do it in the Prem, has done it. But obviously it's at Sheffield United. I think he's adequate. We need a new left back. We need some centre backs. I would be happy starting with Rodon and Strout. Both have Prem experience, but we need extra options. I think Ampadu will make it in the Prem. Tanaka definitely.
I think it's bold to assume that Ampadu's going to make it in the Prem.
I'm telling you. I mean,
what was he like at Sheffield United? That was in the...
He was about 15. No, he would have been about 18 or something.
No,
you forget how young he
was
is.
At Sheffield United. He was
I'm telling you now, man. I'm telling you now, you forget how young he is, right? Because he made his debut for Exeter at 15. Made his debut for Chelsea at 16. He's only 24, locks.
Okay, so he was 19. I just looked. He was 19.
Right, 19. So you forget about that. So 19-year-old, he's still so young. 24 is no age for a footballer. He's our captain. He's our most important player, bro. Like, people maybe don't, because they think of that time at Sheffield United, where he played centre-back, by the way. He's better in the 6. I think with him and Tanaka in midfield, I back it, I think we need a striker. This is a crazy opinion, but everyone's entitled to it. Danny, I know. I think the wingers are good. We need a 10. Have you got one? Who have you got? I wouldn't mind that El Canoes. What's his situation?
Yeah, well, look, Leeds, you're not buying any of our players. It won't happen. I'll
tell you who we will take. The keeper, Hermanson. I'll have him.
Well, tell me about him, mate, because I think the most I've seen of Leeds United this season is, because I try to just avoid the Championship as much as I can, because I know I'm going to get a lot of it next year, but I'm seeing clips of Joe Wayman on my fucking X feed going absolutely crazy on his watch-alongs.
I muted that. I did not see any of that, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Mellier's had a stinker, mate. Not just once, twice, 3 times, mate. He's had so many. And if we don't go up by a point, 2 points, 3 points, it'll be due to his moments. He's dropped so many clangers. So, look, he's in the final year of his deal next year. So I think it'll be a case of sell him now or sign him on a new deal or lose him on a free. So I think they'll try sell him. If they go into the Premier League season with him as our keeper, it's going to be long. It's going to be long, mate. But, because he already faces not a lot of shots and doesn't save them. So in the Premier League, he's going to face a hell of a lot more. We need a keeper. We definitely need a keeper. We need a number 9, as I said. So, exactly, NFC. I like that, mate. Cooper at Sheffield United. Patterson, although he's been poor last few weeks, but I do rate him. I'd love James Trafford, to be honest, but he'll go somewhere higher.
Unreal. Yeah,
he's such a good goalie. But Hermanson, if you don't go Chelsea, maybe they take Trafford. We'll take Hermanson.
Yeah, it's going to cost you 50 million, mate. 50 million.
Get over, man. I mean,
Mate,
are you not
I
worried
think
about
he's
your squad? You must be worried of your squad because of you dropping down, and I mean, I don't know. Are you worried? Who will you lose? Who will you lose?
The keeper's gone. The keeper will go. There's no way we hold on to him. No way. And then I mean, Wout Faes is leaving, but that's not a fucking bad thing at all. That's a good thing.
He was one of the best centre backs in the champ, though.
Yeah, Vestergaard was better than him last season. Yannick Vestergaard was better than him last season, and Vestergaard's better now, in my opinion. I mean, he'll be leaving because that came out in January. He's leaving at the end of the season, no matter what. Even if we stay up, he's leaving. I mean, this guy thinks he's better than he is. He thinks he should be playing for a Champions League team. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. There are some uncertainties. I mean, Abdul Fatawu, who you know all well, he's obviously got an ACL. He's had an ACL injury. Okay. So I think. What would you? Surely he's going. Do you think he'd stay? Because he's not going to play this season. Would a club take a punt on him in the summer?
Yeah, no, they might not, bro, because of an ACL, it might be a January job, and by then you might be the top and thinking, you know what, I'll stay with you. What's happened to Mavididi then? What's his situation? Rubbish.
I mean,
I told you, man.
Well, you didn't tell me.
Mate, you don't go from League 1 to the Championship. An English player as well, by the way. So, he would have. People know about him. I don't know. I didn't rate him, mate. I guess he played on the same side as Somerville, so I had that to compare with. But
he didn't get. There was no consistent games for him at the start of the season under Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper preferred Jordan Ayew and Bobby Decordova-Reid. Steve Cooper preferred them to fucking Fatawu. I mean, Fatawu barely got a start at the start of the season. And then just as he was leaving, just as he was about to get sacked, he got his ACL, which has got him because I think, obviously that's a big hit to your safety.
I think though with Ayew and all that, he wanted willing runners. People were going to press. People who would just run for 90 minutes because he knew you needed to be better off the ball than fecking on it, really. And that's they're bad signings. Don't get me wrong. If we go up and we signed AU, and I'd be like, he's taking the piss. I mean, he doesn't score goals. He just runs about. We've got one of them in Bamford, but yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting, mate.
He don't score goals either. He don't.
No, that's what I mean.
He scored 4, yeah.
Yeah, Ayew does not score goals. Hasn't for a long time, but was key for Palace for years when they had the likes of Eze and Zaha and all that because he did all the donkey work. You know what I mean? Because
that's what we call him. We call him a donkey. we don't mean it in a good way.
No,
though. I mean, same with Decordova-Reid. I mean, there's no doubt. I think if you looked at the stats and broke them down, they are probably two of our biggest runners this season. And to be fair, Jordan Ayew came up with some clutch moments, mate, at the start of the season. He came up with a 94th minute winner against Southampton. He got an equaliser late on against Ipswich. He has had those moments, but the problem, Joe, is our front three in the majority of the games under Ruud van Nistelrooy, Bobby Decordova-Reid, Jamie Vardy, and Jordan Ayew. It's a combined age of some chat can remind me. It's like 102 years old or something like that. Right.
So do you not think, though, that's also shows that Cooper was... Because you've had another manager who's come in and just played the same heads and not used Mavididi.
Well, Ruud has tried. I'm not saying it's been the wrong decision because Steffi Mavididi, when he has played off the bench, he's made a bit of an impact here or there. But the games he started, he's just been absent. You know what I mean? But what you've got to remember is, Manny, who comes on our channel a lot, it's the pace. Where's the pace in Ayew? Where's the pace in Decordova-Reid? At least Mavididi's got a little bit of it. But this is the problem, though, Joe. You need everybody to be competing for places and ready. If someone's not performing, you bring someone in. None of them are really performing. None of them. Yeah. I just think they're all as shit as each other, to be honest with you, mate, just in different ways. Fatawu is the one.
Mavididi is a step over Merchants. That's a beauty, that is.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, Bilal El Khanous is going to be a hell of a player. He's going to be incredible. He's going to play for a top club, I think. And
Leeds
obviously,
United?
Facundo, no, bigger than that. Bigger than that. He doesn't want to go sideways. He wants to go.
Well, if you're going up because you're going down.
And Facundo Buonanotte, mate. I mean,
Is
you
he on
remember
loan from Brighton?
Yeah, man. This guy is. You know what? One thing I will say about Steve Cooper, he got that guy playing, and Ruud van Nistelrooy just can't get on with him. You know, apparently Ruud van Nistelrooy proper had a go at him after one of the games because of the boots he was wearing. He had a go at Facundo. They had an argument about what boots Facundo Buonanotte was wearing. So there's been a fallout there apparently, and he barely plays. And when he does, he's shit anyway. So I think, yeah, it's another thing to probably tick off on Steve Cooper's side over Van Nistelrooy, right? That he had some of these players playing, he had some of them performing, and it's not happening under Van Nistelrooy.
Do you think, mate? Like, it looks like the three that are going down. Do you think you're in the best position out of the three that go down, or do you look at Ipswich? What about Southampton? If they get Danny Roll, apparently that's all but done.
I don't know, mate. You know what?
You get as a manager, for example, Rude's not staying, is he?
No, I mean, some of the names that are being thrown out there, mate. I mean, people are talking about fucking Mark Robbins, right? Mark Robbins. Talking about, you know, Richie Wellens? Richie Wellens? Do you know him? Yeah, down in, I can't, who did he manage? Is it Oldham or someone? No, not Oldham. It can't be Oldham. Yeah, he played for us, for years. Richie Wellens is the manager of Leyton Orient. People are talking about him. Apparently he's got some hype around him as a manager. Apparently he's going to do well. But yeah, this is the thing. It's so uncertain about what's to come for Leicester in the summer because we don't know about transfer embargoes. We don't know who's going to stay, who's going to go. We don't know whether Vardy's going to be here. I don't think he should be personally.
You want him? You want him gone, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I mean, Daniel here says, I'd say Leicester are in the worst position of the side. I mean, what do you think, Joe? What are you saying?
I would argue because Ipswich, if they keep McKenna, they have a championship squad. So, and a very good championship squad. You're talking Schmodix, you're talking Jack Clark, you're talking Leif Davis, you're talking, these people that were already there. Of course, they'll lose Delap, etc. But with the parachute payments, they'll be able to buy. Ipswich are in a very good position. Southampton, again, have a large championship-ready squad. If they get Danny Roll, he's a great coach. He'll have them playing and doing bits. He's already massively outperforming with that terrible Wednesday side. So, yeah, I would argue because you don't have a manager, first and foremost, and also the player churn, mate. A lot of your players were already at the back end of the career. You know, you mentioned Vardy and Didi, Vestergaard, Fass. They're all old, bro. They're like, Harry Winks is not young, is he? I don't know what happens with Skip. I mean, I backed that deal, but 25 million, will someone buy him? It'll probably fucking be us because the manager had him at Norwich and wanted him. So it'll probably be us.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So I'm hoping we'll get Calvin though, but we'll see.
Do you want Calvin?
I do, mate. Yeah, but a lot of Leeds fans don't. But I'm a sentimentalist. I think he needs to return home, and if he returns home, it'll go well for him. I believe that fact, but we'll see.
Let me ask you this, right? I'm going to bring up an image of Leicester's last game, which was against Man United.
Okay.
And this is the team that we put out here. How many of your current Leeds side do you think gets into this team?
Okay, so the goalkeeper doesn't.
Yeah.
Neither does the right back. I love. Oh, hang on. No. Yeah. Right. Well, James Justin would have been right back. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying Bogle over Justin?
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying, I like James Justin, so Bogle wouldn't. No.
See, that could be one, by the way. That's the type of player I could see you signing in the summer, James.
No,
Justin.
we'll keep Bogle. I like Bogle. I just don't think he's better than Justin.
Okay.
Rodon gets in over Cody every day of the week. I would say there's.
What if it was Vestergaard?
I would still back him to. I'd back at least one of our centre backs to get in alongside one of yours.
Okay.
Firpo's had a mint season, but Christensen he's played in City A. I'd probably say Christensen Although Firpo has got most open, but he's not Premier League left back, maybe. So Christian.
This is just to let you know, by the way, this is a back five. So Thomas.
Oh,
Luke
was he
Thomas,
left centre back and then Luke Thomas at left back?
It was the other way round, actually,
Right.
how it played out. But
Firpo gets in over Luke Thomas, by the way. Definitely.
Yeah. I agree.
Sumarian and Didi, I like them both, but I would probably maybe Tanaka deserves a shout, but I do like Sumarian and Didi. Not Pirro over Vardy, but I would take James or Solomon over Daka. And I like El Canoes, but I would give. Yeah, I think our wingers. Why not?
Both of them. So who are the wingers?
Manor Solomon and Dan James.
Yeah, so for obviously for context, I mean, this is a bit of a weird one because it was a back five and basically two up top. But I think with the wing, I mean, let's say it was for Tawu and Mavididi, because I think the assumption in the fan base, the Leicester fan base, is there are two best wingers, Mavididi and Tawu. So do you think any of your current wingers get in over them?
Both of them, yeah.
What? Over for Tawu?
Yes, I don't, bro. I told you last season I don't rate him.
I thought it was Mavididi you didn't rate.
Look, Fatawu's better than Mavididi, but Dan James this season has been unbelievable, and Solomon's already played Champions League and he's better than them both.
We're linked with Solomon, by the way. We're linked with Solomon for next season.
I don't know. He's not going to play in the Champo, is it, again?
I don't know. So I'm still. So is Dan James been on the right and Solomon on the left?
Yeah.
So you'd have Dan James over Fatawu?
Yeah, I would.
What's his numbers like?
Dan James has 10 goals and 9 assists. What did Fatawu do last season? He didn't do that. I don't think he did it. You don't think he did it? Let me have a look.
I'm having a look. Here we go.
Here we go. I've got it in front of me now. Fatawu, last season.
6 goals, 13 assists.
There you go. Dan James has got 10 and 9.
Abdul Fatawu's first season in English football, by the way, last year.
Right, okay.
How long has it taken Dan James to finally get going at Leeds?
Well, he played well last season, but yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to give you anybody over Mavididi, to be honest. But I think you're wide of the mark with the Fatawu. I think you'd take Fatawu at Leeds. I think he'd start for you all day long. It was interesting about Pirro. What is Pirro? What's going on with Pirro? Because
he's got the most assists this season than he's had in a competitive season, even when at Swansea and in Holland. So he's improved massively, mate. He drops deep and links up the play like he tried to do last season, but not to great effect. He's improved. He's scored goals. I think he's got 15. I think him and Boye Signs are on the same for Championship top scorer. I think he finishes. He's better than he was last season, mate. And we're seeing more of the player that we both wanted when he first came to Leeds, So I'm more than happy with him. But we need someone for the Premier League. That's got to be a big, he'll be given a shot. Of course he will. But we need a proper killer. He is that. He is a killer in front of goal. He knows where the back of the net is, but I just think we need something a little bit more in the Premier League.
It's interesting that you said you still take Vardy over him, though. A 38-year-old Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, but it's Jamie Vardy, isn't it, mate?
Yeah,
he's still Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, true. Bamford will keep Leeds up, Bryce says.
Bamford's done, mate. Bamford's done. We've got one more year left. One more year and then he's gone.
Yeah, Peaches says the issue is you've got to get recruitment bang on, solid defence, and then rely on one of the 17 Prem clubs to have a horror show for over half a season to stay up at the moment. I mean, mate, you talk about what you think the 49ers will do and all of that, but you've got to admit, just from watching from afar, the gap is massive. 2 seasons in a row, the bottom 3 going down.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
Great. It's not great because who's closest to your Wolves? And then you look at Wolves' side and you go, they've got Mateus Cunha, they've got Aït-Nouri, they've got, these players, and how are we supposed to compete? So I agree. It's almost like, look, someone's going to do it, and hopefully it'll be us. But I think you're almost getting, because you're seeing in the Championship now as well, it looks like we could be on for another season where 3 teams get 90 points with us,
Crazy.
Burnley and Sheffield United. So you could end up be looking at a 17 in the Prem and then a 9, the top 6 and the bottom 3, and then the rest of the Champo. Do you know what I mean? And them just switching places. If you think about it, if you, Leicester, Southampton are in the hunt again, and then the 3 get relegated, you'd expect them 3 relegated to be in the hunt again the next season, and it might just end up playing musical chairs, bro. Like, genuinely. And then the odd season, you might get a Sunderland who double drop. You might get a Luton who double drop. We did it, for God's sake. But, you know, and then you might get the odd season where one team's able to stay up, like a Forest or like a Leeds when we did it, but we only did it for one season, you know what I mean? The teams that have done it successfully, Forest, Villa, Wolves, Newcastle, of course, but Newcastle were always it weren't the same then, but more recently Forest.
Well,
but...
Leicester did it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You fucking went and won the thing, man, for God's sake. You'll always have that moment, mate. Even though when the shit hits the fan now, and you get relegated to League One, you'll always have that time you won the Premier League and FA Cup, and no one will ever take that. It's probably one of the greatest sporting achievements, mate. So you can have that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody says here, just break the rules and pray you stay up with a deduction. I mean, that's what Forest did, right? They got a deduction, you know, and it was only a small one. I know Everton have been doing it. Obviously, they've. I mean, look at them now under Moyes.
We were
the
only
Leicester would have stayed up.
We were the only team, bro, that didn't break the rules and ended up getting fucking relegated.
Were you? I don't know. No, because Leicester didn't break the rules that year.
Forest got a point, or did you not?
No, it was the year after. Yeah.
Okay.
Although
we've never been done for it. We've never been done for it, yeah? And we're the only team that, it is what it is.
To be fair, Southampton haven't even come close to breaching, and they still did you in the playoff final. They beat you to it, didn't they? So, but they were terrible. I mean, it's not a surprise. That's the least.
We'd have been better than them, I tell you that much. We'd have given a better fucking showing than them.
I think you probably would. Yeah, I think you probably would. I was going to say, do you think Leicester would, you know, David Moyes, if he was at Leicester, do you think we would have stayed up? Because you see what he's doing at Everton. I mean, it's incredible, really, the turnaround that they had. Do you think he would have, someone like him would have kept?
Cooper could have kept you up, man. You'd have still been in with a chance.
Yeah.
Listen, I said at the time, didn't I? I thought it was a good appointment for you to get Rude. I said that.
But you didn't think it was the right decision to sack Cooper, did you? You just
thought... No, but I just felt that because he had a decent standing, Burnley had looked at him, he'd done well over in Holland, I believe. He'd done well at Man United. I thought, do you know what? This is a forward-thinking appointment. Obviously, the shit's hit the fan because the level of play you've got isn't that. And, Cooper was probably going about it the right way, but you couldn't see that.
I mean, looking back, it's a little bit concerning. Apparently, he was. Apparently, the rumor is that he applied for the Coventry job and didn't get it earlier in the year.
Rude.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's the rumor. But yeah, listen. Let me just look at a couple of comments. LCFC Rude says the only one who would have kept us up, let's be real, is Maresca. I mean, what? Go on, Joe, answer me this, mate, because as you probably know with Bielsa, you've probably had these moments as well. Like you like going back to the ex. You like talking about your ex, right? You like talking about Bielsa, I'm sure. Leicester fans love talking about Enzo. Do you think Enzo Maresca would have kept Leicester City up in the Premier League? And I suppose you've got to take into account the recruitment would have been completely fucking different under Enzo Maresca than it was under Cooper.
Yeah, but it could have also been a little bit like Russell Martin, couldn't it?
Or Company.
Or Company. Exactly. It's hard, mate. It is really hard because you could argue he's still massively underperforming with the Chelsea squad, bro. Like, let's be honest. But they could get Champions League. They're still in with a chance of that, I believe. Yeah,
well, they've had a similar drop-off at this time of year like Leicester did, right? Last season. Teams are kind of figuring them out a little bit.
And he couldn't afford that in the fucking... in the
relegation battle.
Yeah, in a relegation battle, that's for sure. So, No, I don't. It's hard, mate. It is really hard to even think about that, to be honest. But I get why Leicester fans. But listen, man, you Leicester fans were complaining about him. Let's be real. You were complaining about him, saying the football's rubbish. Told you, man, entitled. But then again, Leeds United fans have been like that this season. No, some have, mate. Not me, but some have said that. Oh, it's shit. It's this. It's that. So we showed a bit of that this season as well.
I saw someone online earlier today say that obviously when Leicester go down for a rebuild, they should bring in Southgate.
Wow.
Do you think? I'll ask. Do you think that would be a good idea? But also, do you think he'd even come to Leicester in the Championship?
I think Southgate will go work upstairs at a club. I think he'll do some sort of director of football role or something like that. Club management's not his thing, mate. He was decent at tournament football, but the football was fucking minging, weren't it?
Well, he's doing TED Talks now, isn't he, about video games and porn or something like that? He's talking about... You not seeing it?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. He'll end up in some sort of role where he's paid, top dollar somewhere to be an advisor at Summit because he's worked at FA and he's been a success, mate. That's what it is. So, I don't think you'll see him manage club football. He don't need to. Don't need the stress of it, bro. I think, he's earned his money now as Southgate.
Right, last question, last two questions, right? So I think this is the easier one. The three going down, who do you reckon? Is it just them three, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton? Because I think the computer that's everywhere these days has given Leicester and Ipswich a 99% chance of going down. So do you think that's set in stone now, mate?
Yes, of course it is, Locks. Come on. You've got what have you got there? You've got 9 games left and a difference of 9 points. Yeah. It's
10. Yeah, with the goal difference, we need 10 points to 10 points on Wolves.
My God.
It's bad, isn't it? Yeah, it's fucking bad.
Oh man, we're Southampton near that derby record yet? Or what? Like, are they close to?
They've. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I forgot about that. It's 12 points, isn't it? Is the derby record 12 points?
Yeah, there you go. So
that could happen. That could genuinely happen. Although I've been saying that, it wouldn't, with how bad we are, it wouldn't surprise me if, once Southampton are confirmed down, if they pressures off, if they win a couple of games, mate, they could fucking we could finish bottom. Like, that's how bad we are at the moment. I think if we played Southampton tomorrow, they'd beat us. I'm convinced we're that bad. That bad. This is the more difficult one. Who are the 3 teams going up, mate? Obviously, you're going to say Leeds, but yeah, what are you saying?
I will say Leeds, yeah. To be honest, I think it's the top 3 go up.
Do you think Scotty Parker would have the playoffs? Do you think he'd shithouse it?
Yeah, I think he would, and I think Sheffield United would be so experienced that I'd also get them up. I think Sunderland have gone. West Brom, nah, not over 2 legs. And I just think, Coventry riding the crest of a wave, but they won't win the playoffs. I think your top 6 is done, I do. But because Bristol City's runs rock hard. But yeah, I think it's the top 3, unless Leeds United drop into 3rd, at which point we won't go up through the playoffs.
Is it? I mean, are you shitting it at all? Like, are you worried in any way, shape, or form?
I'm not. Honestly, mate, I'm not. But we've got 4 home games that I think we'll win, which will put us in a massive. Win them 4 home games. That's 12 points. That's 92. Get the odd point away. I think we'll be all right. But if we came back and we play Swansea on the Saturday at 3:00 and we get beat, then I'll start to worry. But I just think our run's so favourable, mate. We've got Swansea, Plymouth, Bristol City, Middlesbrough, Stoke. We haven't, man. We've played them.
Oh, you've played them? All right, that's good.
Yeah, we played them. Yeah. We drew 2-2, man. We drew 2-2. They were 2-0 up as well.
Oh, shit. Oh, I remember. Yeah, because I sent you a message, and then when you equalised, you fucking...
Yeah, exactly. But that's, again, that experience, we beat Millwall, mate. We beat Millwall the other week. So, yeah, we're going to be fine. I do believe that. But, listen, stranger things have happened. I know it is, mate, but we don't win playoffs, man. Trust me, we don't. So I'm staying away from that shit.
Yeah, I mean, what would just if you didn't go up this season somehow?
Game
do
over,
you think you've got enough to go like? Because you know what they say, right? Relegated teams, every year you're in the division, it gets harder and harder to go up, which I think is the worry for Leicester fans at the moment, because we don't know. A lot of us don't think we'll go up next season. But would you worry at all, or do you think your owners, the investment you've got?
I would worry. Yeah, I would worry.
Okay.
Because manager gets sacked, we lose a load of players again. We have to go again, and yeah, look, I would still back the owners because they put a lot of money into it and they're very rich. But I just, it's a worry in terms of playing personnel. And like I said, the league next season, mate, is going to be massive, Locks, genuinely.
Yeah. Part of me is happy that you're not going to be there, to be honest with you. Although the streams would be enjoyable, that's for sure. Streams would be enjoyable.
They would, mate. You're right. They would.
Nice one. Well, cheers, Joe, mate. Thanks for coming on this channel for the first time. Much appreciated. Obviously, as the title of this is who's going up and who's going down, it's actually something that we can continue next season as well, really, when you're in the Premier League struggling down the bottom, because it will happen.
I don't think we will be, but yeah, we'll see. We will be there.
But yeah, this is kind of just like a new little series I thought I'd start because of the international break. I think we're going to try and get Hal on as well at some point soon from the Sheffield United way. That'll be a bit of fun. So yeah, as I said, if anybody isn't already subscribed to Joe, then obviously go and do it. It's in the title.
Yeah,
and watch the content to give yourself a little taster of what's to come next season for us in the Championship. So yeah, along with Joe now with 2 years back in the Champ, he's now the Championship royalty alongside Benjamin Bloom, although he's now in the Premier League, but he'll be back next season. So Joe is now Championship royalty, although I don't think he's happy with that title. I think
my ex, man. I want to be Premier League royalty.
Yeah, man. Right, Joe, cheers. Thanks for joining, mate. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 for Good Morning Foxes. Cheers.